maybe. Okay. I call to order the October 3rd, 2022 council meeting to order. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Michelle, would you call the roll, please?
Here.
Here. Here.
She's on screen. She's virtual. I
Here.
don't think they can hear up there, Jason.
Michelle, your mic doesn't appear to be working. You might need to grab another mic.
Yeah.
Councilmember Newman,
Here.
Councilmember Steward,
Here.
Councilmember Reed,
Here.
All right. We're all in house. So tonight we have two proclamations. The first proclamation will be Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and I call on Chief Maricki.
Good evening, Mayor. It's my privilege, once again, to stand before you tonight to read into the record a proclamation by our mayor, recognizing and declaring October as Domestic Violence Awareness Month in the city of Sumner, as we've done for many, many, many years. Whereas domestic violence is a confrontation between family or household members involving physical harm, harassment, sexual assault, threats of physical harm, stalking, and whereas domestic violence is a crime that affects men, women, children, families, neighborhoods, and communities, and whereas on average, 1 in 3 women, 1 in 4 men in the United States will experience domestic violence by an intimate partner during their lifetime, and whereas according to the National Domestic Violence Hotline, calls for domestic violence assistance were up in 2021 due to the continued added stress, isolation, financial strain, and increased proximity to their abusers caused by the COVID-19 pandemic. And whereas children who grow up in violent homes are likely to also be abused or neglected and are more prone to domestic violence as adults. And whereas through its legal department, the city helps support victims and develop safety plans, as well as prosecute crimes related to domestic violence and to hold perpetrators accountable for their actions. And whereas the city of Sumner believes that our community, including every resident, should be a place of safety for all individuals. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed by the city of Sumner, once again, declares October as Domestic Violence Awareness Month and encourages all citizens to actively stand against domestic violence in our community. Dated this 3rd day of October, 2022 by Mayor Kathy Hayden. And it's also my privilege tonight to introduce to you Noelle Clark, our Legal Services Coordinator, who among the many hats she wears is also our domestic violence victim advocate. And I'd like her to share a little bit about the services that she supports to our victims of domestic violence in Sumner.
Thank you, Chief. Hi, Council. I'm Noelle Clark. I've been with the city about 8 years, and for the last 6.5, I've been the Legal Services Coordinator and the Domestic Violence Victim Advocate here in Sumner. So what that entails is working primarily with victims of criminal or crimes that are being prosecuted by the municipal court. But I also serve citizens who are looking for general resources on domestic violence. We have a kiosk, a very wonderful kiosk right here in our police department, along with several other cities in the county that serves as an emergency domestic violence protection order kiosk only. So you don't have to be a victim of a crime to receive these services. You can come at any point, Monday through Friday. I believe it's from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. and apply for a protection order. And I provide resources occasionally to those people who come and use the kiosk as well. Some of those resources entail safety planning, how to safely remove themselves from the situation. It also can entail guiding them through the court proceedings, explaining what those procedures are, what certain types of hearings are, what kind of rights they have as a victim of domestic violence, even relating to landlord and tenant issues. It can also be guiding them to licensed mental health professionals should they need extra support, support groups, peer groups, things of that nature. The other thing I'd like to point out quickly is that domestic violence, we focus a lot on intimate partner violence, as it's known now, kind of husband and wife, spouses, boyfriends, girlfriends in general. Domestic violence spans every race, gender, tax bracket. It truly touches every facet of the community. And it's not just husbands and wives or husbands and husbands or wives and wives. It's parents and children, it's siblings, it's cousins, it's grandparents and grandchildren. It truly can affect every member of any family. We here in Sumner has served the richest and the poorest. So it really does take a community to recognize those signs that are not just physical. Things like financial abuse are a huge underlying problem, especially in this day and age when gas, rent, and food are the highest they've ever been. It can be really hard to just leave a situation when you have no control over your own financial standing, as well as emotional and mental abuse that people suffer day in and day out that may go unnoticed. So if you see something, say something, I guess. It's a well-known term on a variety of levels, but please check in on your neighbors, check in on your family, on your friends. If you feel that they may be isolating, if you hear something that just hits you wrong, domestic violence is heavily stigmatized, and it's not something that people are just going to come out and talk openly about. So it may take you reaching that hand out and saying, I'm here for you. So don't be afraid to do that. And I would like to thank the council for once again bringing notice to Domestic Violence Awareness Month. It is so important that victims of these crimes feel supported. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Chief and Noel.
Thank you.
All right, our second proclamation is for the Bonnie Lake Sumner Little League. I don't know if they're here.
I haven't seen any.
Mayor.
There we go. Got it. Now are we ready? Okay. So tonight we're recognizing the Bonnie Lake Sumner Little League Major All-Stars. Wow. Whereas the Bonnie Lake Sumner Little League, or as we like to say, the Sumner Bonnie Lake Little League, an organization providing baseball, softball, and t-ball programs to youth from our school district. And whereas these athletes, ranging from 10 to 12 years old, made history by becoming the first Pierce County team to reach the Little League World Series. And whereas the guidance of manager Jess Workman and coaches Scott Santman, Tucker Baker, and Scott Siebert helped these athletes shine. And whereas the team's families provided unwavering support to their major all-stars. And whereas for 2 days in August, everyone in Sumner and Bonnie Lake became the biggest Little League fans and turned into the game. And whereas we in the city of Sumner would like to express our pride and thanks for representing our corner of the world on the international stage. Now, therefore, I, Kathy Hayden, Mayor of the City of Sumner, Washington, with the full support of the Sumner City Council, do hereby recognize and congratulate the Bonnie Lake Sumner Little League Baseball Major All-Stars team on their outstanding accomplishment. We'll get them next year. Dated this third day of October, 2022.
Thank you.
Yeah, sure.
I do.
Yeah,
Okay.
you don't have to if you don't want to.
I wanted to say, on behalf of our team, thank you very much. One of the things that I kind of realized through this whole process, now that we've got a little bit more distance in between, is the fact that not a lot of teams make it out of Washington just to go to regionals and then in fact make it to the World Series. And so it's a kind of a small select group of players and coaches and parents to be able to experience this. And I'm glad that we were able to give you guys 2 days of entertainment, which felt like probably 3 years for us of entertainment. So thank you very much.
Thank you. So if you want to stay, you're welcome to, but if not, I will give you a few minutes to leave if you'd like. You won't hurt our feelings. Thank you. Nice work, guys. Okay. One straggler.
Michelle.
Okay. All right, moving on to the consent agenda. Will the clerk please read the consent agenda?
Item number 1, approval of electronic checks and payments in the amount of $1,123,969.18. Item number 2, approval of the minutes from the regular council meeting of September 19th, 2022, special study session of September 19th, 2022, and September 26th, 2022 study session.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor Hochstetter, would you like to make a motion?
Yes, I move we adopt the consent agenda as read.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I second it.
Seconded by Councilmember Boteto. All in favor?
I
Any opposed? Seeing none. Passes unanimous. All right, no public hearing tonight. Okay, regular business. Bus Up Master Services Agreement, MIC Transit. Councilmember Brown, would you like to make a motion?
Yes, I move
for the mayor to enter into a contract with Bus Up.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Councilmember Newman. I call on Ryan Windish, Community Development Director.
Good evening, Mayor Hayden and City Council. Can everybody hear me? This is
Yes,
a chance. Fantastic. Thank you. I didn't have a chance to do a mic check before the meeting. So before you tonight is the Master Services Agreement for Bus Up to begin a pilot project transit shuttle service to our manufacturing industrial center from the Sounder station in the downtown. And this first came to council September 6th. We followed up with a study session on September 19th, responding to a number of questions that council had. And the master services agreement has been updated. It was updated between the 6th and the 19th. So the 19th meeting was the last changes, I believe, that were made to the document. And the initial motion authorized the contract for Bus Up to operate this microtransit system for an initial 6 months, and then a following at 10,000 per month, and then a follow-up 6 months at 13,750 per month for a total of 12 months operation, which is really what is needed in order to understand what the ridership and demand ultimately will be. And I've been working with representation from Bus Up to contact numerous businesses in our north end. We have letters of support. We have recent employee data from REI. We are moving forward with trying to understand the demand from those companies and feel that we can definitely make this successful, and happy to answer any questions you may have.
do we have any discussion amongst council members? Councilmember Hochstetter.
Yes, I would like to make a motion to table this. And my rationale is that we should discuss this during the budget process. We've seen a lot of unfunded needs, and I'd like to put this on the list with those. I feel that the funding this service should be considered as part of the budget service.
Thank you. We have a motion from Councilmember Hochstetter. Do I have a second?
I second that.
Seconded by Councilmember Steward. Okay, so Andrea. Call on Andrea.
I see.
Actually, this motion to table is not debatable. So Mayor, I would turn it over to the clerk to call for the vote.
Thank you.
Steward,
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Hochstetter,
Yes.
Councilmember Newman,
Yes.
Potato,
Yes.
Paul.
Yes.
Thank you. Passes unanimous. Okay. So this item is tabled, and I think we will move on to our next item then. Okay, and the next item is public comment. The public was encouraged to submit their comments to the city clerk by email before tonight's meeting, so the clerk may read those emails received in the record. Were there any public comments received, Michelle?
No, there were not.
Does any public listening or watching have any comments they would like to make regarding items not on the agenda tonight? use your raise a hand feature if you are participating by telephone, or you can raise your hand and by pressing *9. Yeah, I don't think that's on the agenda. Sure. Are you Ken Nath? Come on up.
Okay. Good evening, council members. My name is Ken Nathy. I reside at 3819 in Rodesco Drive in Puyallup. I'm here due to concerns with the proposed development and water problems with Stephen Taylor Park and water runoff from Wood Avenue onto our property located at 1721 and 1719 Wood Avenue. There is proposed shrubbery or hedge along the property line adjacent to 1721 and 1719 Wood Avenue, which is close to the property. The hedge is said to be 6 foot tall and being 10 to 15 feet, more or less, from the building, which may create a closed-in feeling to the tenants and prevent them from having a view of the park. Their view would be shrubbery because of 6 feet tall is like that. And so if they're 10, 15 feet away, all you're going to see is shrubbery. This would impact the desirability and the amount of rent we can get from those units, and also may impact the amount, should we decide to sell, the amount that we could sell property for due to the reduced rents that could possibly be had. We are also concerned with the dog run that is proposed adjacent to 1721 Wood Avenue. That will also be very close to the rental units, and dogs barking within 10 to 15 feet of the residents would be very annoying and create a huge nuisance. Another concern is the standing water in the park close to 1719 Wood Avenue. We have had to deal with standing water for many, many years, but no one seems to care unless it's in their backyard. We have complained to a number of people, but nothing gets done. There is a catch basin next to the patio on 1719 Wood Avenue. There is a lot of surface water directed to that catch basin, leaving standing water in that area. Most of which, water during the rainy season, which has caused the patio to settle excessively and crack in multiple directions, which may require replacing. Right now, it's cracked different directions and it's settled down, so we've got it jacked up so it's usable. But eventually, it's going to have to be redone. And then there's that catch basin that's just about that far.
Mr. Nate,
Patio.
your 3 minutes are up.
Huh?
Your 3 minutes are up.
Time is up?
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right.
If you have something that you would like to leave for council, I'd be more than happy to make sure they get that.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your concerns. Okay.
Mayor, point of order. You
Yes.
do have one person virtually that'd like to. It's
We have
Christina
what?
Cooper would like to make a comment from Zoom.
Oh. I see her. All right, Christina Cooper. This is for something that's not on the agenda tonight.
Okay, I misunderstood the agenda, so I was wondering when it said nothing was sent in. I know that you guys received it. So if it's not on the agenda tonight, do I not, am I required to read what I sent to everybody, or is what I sent fine? I don't think I'm not prepared to read it.
No, that is on the agenda tonight, so you cannot speak on that tonight
Ms. Cooper, we
until
did,
it's time. There will be public speaking on that issue during the issue.
Oh, okay. Thank you. I'm sorry.
That's all right. Okay. All right. So moving on to our next item, which is new business. And it is a Councilmember Reed conduct violation. Councilmember Reed, I understand you will be recusing yourself.
Yes, Mayor, due to conflict of interest, I'll be recusing from this agenda item.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor Hochstetter, would you please make a motion?
Pursuant to Council Rule number 23.3, motion to impose a written remand upon Councilmember Reed for a violation of the council rules and code of conduct.
We have a motion. Do I have a second? Seconded by Councilmember Cole. All right, I call on City Attorney Andrea Marquez.
Thank you, Mayor. Council Rule 23.1 says that the City Council has the power under general state law to impose punishment on its members short of removal from office for violating state law or council rules. The sanction options that are available to council for violations of council rules include the following: 1, a verbal admonition; 2, a written reprimand; 3, censure; 4, expulsion from a meeting; and or 5, removal from appointed council committees or chair positions, or removal from intergovernmental duties. As a general reminder, the imposition of one or more of these sanctions on a fellow council member requires a majority vote of the council.
Thank you. Is there any discussion among council members? Councilmember Hochstetter. There you go.
Yes, as a deputy mayor, the council has asked me to read a prepared written statement. Due to recent news reports, we became aware of a racist meme sent by one of our fellow council members, Mr. Patrick Reed, at his place of employment. The meme was very inappropriate and hurtful, and in no way represents our values as a welcoming community and as of this council as a whole. We are disappointed and we disapprove of this councilman's actions, whether intentional or accidental. Instead of sweeping this under the rug, we want to speak out so that everyone knows racist and discriminatory behavior, words, or attitudes are not acceptable and are not who we strive to be. All council members continue to participate in training that includes taking actions to better understand principles of diversity, equity, and inclusion. Sumner's vision is to be a progressive small city where we welcome arts, events, and attitudes that bring people together. We are a city that celebrates one another, and we promise to uphold this virtue. This is our priority, to respect one another and work through this together. Based on this behavior, I recommend that we proceed in issuing Councilmember Reed a written reprimand.
Thank you. Is there any member of the public that would like to speak on this issue?
Mayor, you need to ask other council if they'd like to weigh in. I see Councilmember Newman has her hand raised.
All right, Councilmember Newman.
Thank you. I would like to amend the motion so that it includes not just a reprimand, but removal as chair from any city committees, that being both ARPA and the Finance and Personnel Committee, as well as the Pierce County Regional Council.
Okay. Do I
Mayor,
have-
you'll need a second for that motion.
Yes. Do I have a second for that? Councilmember Hochstetter,
Yes, I'll second that.
been moved and seconded.
May I speak to it at this time, or do I need to wait?
Go ahead.
Thank you. The reason for making that motion tonight, in light of, even though last week we had discussed potentially waiting to take such an action until after the state investigation. Later, I learned, and probably many of you may have different news stories and other information, that because it's a personnel matter, it will remain confidential, and there's a good chance we won't ever learn of its findings. We also know through our own conversations with Councilmember Reed that he did in fact send this meme, and I'm less concerned with him and more concerned about the signal that we send to others about such hurtful matters. And I do think particularly when it comes to something like Pierce County Regional Council, where he is our representation, I think that can cause both harm for us, but sends the wrong message to others if we don't take such action. And I certainly don't want to be complicit in the messages that he has sent, whether purposefully or not.
Thank you. City Attorney Marquez. Do we call the roll first?
Mayor, there can be council discussion on both the motion and the amendment.
All right, thank you. Do we have any? Councilmember Steward. There we go.
Thank you. I'm not exactly sure how to do this, so I'll look to our city attorney, but I would like to propose an amendment to the amendment. Is that okay to move forward?
Of
with
course,
my
Councilmember
idea?
Steward, you would just say, I'd like to make a second amendment and then put it on the floor.
Okay.
And you'll need a second for your motion.
Yeah, I'd like to make a second amendment to add on to the amendment that Councilmember Newman proposed, and that is to remove Councilmember Reed from all committees and all assignments. His credibility has taken a serious hit, not just with the public, especially with the public, but with the staff. And I really feel like we need to do some damage control. So that's my motion, to amend the amendment. Thank you.
All right. Do we have a second?
I second.
Seconded by Councilmember Cole. Okay. Any members of the public that would wish to speak? And I see Christina Cooper is not here anymore, so.
Mayor, if we could remind people at home, if they'd like to provide comment, it's either *9 or use the raise your hand feature in Zoom.
Christina Cooper, I see you out there. Go ahead.
Yes, I'm still here. I don't have what I had emailed, but I was pretty much saying that if I also would like to request that council member Reed, all I knew is he was on the Public Safety Committee, and that was concerning to me. But I support what this council is discussing. So, and I understand that what the letter that I did send would be part of public record for the meeting. Is that correct? I sent it to Michelle.
That is correct.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Did the clerk receive any comments to be read to the record?
I did, Mayor. I received two, one from Ms. Cooper and the other from Mr. Butcher. Would you like me to read Ms. Cooper's comments
Yes.
into the record?
Yes, please.
My name is Christina Cooper and I reside in Sumner off of Washington Street. The recent racist incident of Councilmember Reed has caught the attention of many concerned residents, including myself. In reviewing the agenda from the council study session on September 26th, I was relieved to see the council taking action on the incident. However, I noticed that the motion is for Councilmember Reed to receive a written reprimand. While I understand that this is a serious disciplinary action, I don't feel it's enough. Councilmember Reed's responsibility as an elected official is to represent all residents of Sumner and also represent the city of Sumner. Is this how the city of Sumner wants to be represented? I'm requesting that Councilmember Reed be removed from the council completely. I have noticed he's on the Public Safety Committee as well. If the council is not willing to vote to remove him, at the very least, he should be removed from the Public Safety Committee as he has demonstrated a strong bias against the BIPOC community. I have seen Councilmember Reed's apology, and I have tried to give him the benefit of the doubt in the scenario he provided of sending the wrong meme, end quotes. But there are a few things that keep getting in the way of this incident being a mistaken meme. One, what meme bank was he pulling from that he had readily available on an official search engine? Two, even if the meme omitted the racial components, does Councilmember Reed believe that anyone that ends up in court is presumed guilty? Isn't it presumed innocent until proven guilty by the court? Item 3, who sends memes and official emails? I believe Councilmember Reed knew what he sent and is become so relaxed with his racist and biased views that he slipped up. If the people he sent the meme to knew that it was out of character for him, they would have more than likely dismissed it and brought it to his attention, but that's not what happened. It was reported to HR, which should tell us at least one of the recipients was finally able to provide evidence of who Councilmember Reed really is and took it to HR. Over the last several months, I've noticed the city of Sumner taking meaningful steps towards creating space for the marginalized members of the community, such as the Pride Bench at Loyalty Park, the murals in town, and the city staff joining the Sumner Bonnie Lake School District's Equity Advisory Council. I believe allowing Councilmember Reed to remain on the council sends the opposite message of what the city's recently been working towards. Sumner is inclusive and everyone is welcome. I don't think it's appropriate for the council to wait and see how Councilmember Reed's employer handles this. How this council handles this incident will be reflective of what this council truly believes and wants for all residents of Sumner. In solidarity, signed, Christina Cooper. The second comment that we received, as I mentioned, is from Mr. Butcher. Hello, Councilmember Steward. I'm writing as a Sumner resident and a voter to ask you for a verbal I cannot say this word and I do apologize. It's not going to get any better. A written reprimand, censure, and removal from appointed council committees of Patrick Reed. Patrick Reed use of a racist meme cannot go unpunished. Racism should have no home here in Sumner, especially in a city council position that has the power to make decisions that can disappropriately impact minorities. Furthermore, Patrick Reed's apology is not genuine. His public Facebook page shows that he still follows a Facebook page called Unoffended. This page is a cesspool of racist, homophobic, and transphobic memes. The fact that Patrick Reed is still consuming this racist material shows that he is not apologetic and has not learned from his mistake. Here is proof that he is still consuming racist memes. And below this is a picture showing the site for unoffended. Please let me know as council member the actions you'll be taking. Thank you. Those were the two comments that we received.
You. All right. Christina Cooper, do you have another item? I can't hear you.
Councilmember,
No, I don't.
Okay, thank you. Councilmember Newman.
Thank you. Yes, Councilmember Steward's amendment to my amendment covers everything. It's just more comprehensive than what I had suggested. So to make things simpler, I'll just withdraw my amendment so that we end up voting on one instead of two.
Thank you. Okay. Councilmember Hochstetter.
Well, I was just going to state that I was in favor of the amendment that Ms. Newman made. I think it's pretty harsh to take him off from attending and helping us do our business. So I was just going to be supportive of the Newman one and not of the harsher one. But do we have to vote to take her amendment off or just? No?
No, she.
no, the
withdrew.
maker of the motion can withdraw it at any time, and it sounds like she's done that. Perhaps Councilmember Steward, can you elaborate on your amendment so that it's clear what that covers?
Let me do that now.
Yes. Oh, go ahead, Earl. Go ahead, Earl. One more.
Okay, thank you. As I thought about this and I knew that Councilmember Hochstetter was prepared to recommend the letter of reprimand and removal from the chair positions, I think. I can't remember now, it's been so much going on. I just feel like because of the public outcry, the credibility of Councilmember Reed is really, really diminished. And I feel like him serving in a capacity of a committee member that has 1/3 the votes to move things forward or to not move things forward just doesn't sit well with me at the present time. So that's the nature of my amendment.
Okay. Councilmember Brown.
I'm in favor of a written reprimand. The act was wrong. I'm not in favor of the amendment. What has occurred should not affect any committee he may be a member. Items that might pass through the committee comes to the full council. He cannot pass an item. It's the council's job.
Thank you. Okay. Councilmember Cole.
Excuse me, I was initially in favor of only the written reprimand, but I am in agreement with the motion made by Councilmember Steward, mostly because the public outcry and especially because of what Councilmember Newman brought to light, in that we will most likely not hear the outcome of Washington State's investigation, their HR unit's investigation. And for me, personally, I just, and as a council member, and I know that the city feels the same way, that this is inexcusable and just should not have ever happened. And so I will support the amendment to the motion.
Thank you. Councilmember Hochstetter.
Yes, my question would be, how long would he be taken off the committees for? Would it be for the rest of, I think he has 2 years left on his term. And would we be replacing him with someone else on the committees that he is leaving? Would that, so who am I asking this to?
You could either ask Mr. Steward, or you can certainly ask us to weigh in.
Yeah.
To be clear, it's really a council decision how long, but his term on the committees is through the end of next year. That's how we would weigh in, but it's up to council what the duration of that discipline would be.
So it's up to you.
Yes, my intent would be to have the duration be for the normal length of time that he would serve in the capacity on those committees, which would be apparently till the end of his current term of office.
Okay. Are we all clear on that?
No,
Councilmember Potato?
well, I guess I'm still more in favor of the second amendment, removing him from any leadership in the committees. Because, I mean, I've served on finance and public works with him and have found his input very valuable. And to remove him from everything until the end of next year seems that we're not getting maybe some input that we could be benefited. So.
Okay. Councilmember Hochstetter.
Can I ask Ms. Newman to reconsider withdrawing her amendment?
I had my hand raised to do just that, to make it easier for everyone. To be clear, I do actually support Councilmember Steward's amendment, but we can vote on 2 different amendments tonight since we're having so much fun. I will move forward with my amendment to have Mr. Reed removed as chair of any of his council committees, and to my knowledge, that's both ARPA and Finance and Personnel, and to have him removed from Pierce County Regional Council, where he represents the city of Sumner in a regional organization.
Okay.
I think I need a second.
Do I have a second? Councilmember Hochstetter.
Yes, I'd like to second that.
All right. Motion's been seconded. So now we're back to 2 amendments. Councilmember Steward.
Thank you. As I've researched this and thought about it and talked to people, received correspondence, this action, the action that would be taken by the council, it says right in our council rules that sanctions for violating council rules may include, we're not kicking him off the council, we don't have that legal authority, but this is a form of discipline to remove him from any responsibilities other than being on the council. His mistake, as in quotes, as has been told, is unforgivable until he can prove himself worthy to gain our trust back. So that's why I made that amendment. It doesn't take away his ability to vote on things because, as Councilmember Brown pointed out, the council is the final say on any committee action. And I think of the other 6 members of the council, there is plenty of talent to take his place with just as meaningful input as Councilmember Reed would have provided. Thank you.
Okay.
Mayor.
Councilmember Hochstetter.
Yes, I'd like to call for the vote, call for the question.
Thank you.
So Mayor, just to be clear, we're first voting on Councilmember Steward's amendment.
Thank you. Michelle, would you call the roll on Councilmember Steward's amendment?
Potato,
No.
Brown,
No.
Stewart,
Yes.
Hochstetter,
No.
Cole,
Yes.
Newman.
Yes.
So Mayor, this is one of the instances where you would break a tie.
Okay. So. And this is on Councilmember Steward's amendment. All right. I'm going to vote yes. So it passes. No need to vote on the next one, right?
Correct. So we'd be voting on the underlying motion as amended.
Okay. So now we are voting on the underlying motion as amended.
No.
Yes.
Michelle, we can't hear your mic.
Thank you. Stewart,
Yes.
Hochstetter,
Yes.
Newman,
Yes.
Potato,
No.
Cole.
Yes.
Passes 5-2. 4-2. No, because I had a vote. I don't like this stuff. Okay. Oof, how confusing can it get?
Can we invite Mr. Reed back to the meeting?
I think we can. Mr. Reed, would you like to come back to the meeting? Or not? Okay, well, we're going to move on. There's no public hearing tonight. We are,
Actually, Mayor, we're now on ordinance 2835.
yep, I was just going there. 2835 ARPA budget amendment. Councilmember Newman, would you like to make a motion?
Yes, I would. Thank you. I move that we approve ordinance 2835, amending the 2021 and 2022 biannual budget, allocating $50,000 to be used for a restaurant grant in Parklet.
Thank you. Do I have a second? Councilmember Hochstetter,
Yes, I'll second that.
seconded by Councilmember Hochstetter. Okay, we have a motion and a second. I call on Brian Windisch. There he is.
Thank you, Mayor Hayden. Give me 1 second here. So thank you, Ryan Windisch, your Community Development Director. Earlier this year, the city accepted Apologize. Applications for business grants, and during that process, the city failed to review one of the applications from Eternal Soul Bowl. It's a new restaurant. Hope you've had a chance to visit it. It's located at 926 Main Street in downtown. The city received the application on April 29th from Jewel Rudolph, owner of Eternal Soul Bowl. But unfortunately, due to technical error, my oversight, the application was not reviewed and scored with the other 4 applications that we received for the restaurant grants. We took this to the ARPA committee, and in considering their application, the scoring, the circumstances, the ARPA committee is recommending that the Eternal Soul Bowl be awarded a $60,000 grant, which is intended to cover their costs for tenant improvements. That's building permit fees and other costs to get up and running in downtown Sumner, really meeting the intent of the grant entirely, filling empty space downtown, bringing a eating establishment to Sumner. The committee and staff feel this is fair, given that they did submit their application in a timely manner. It scored moderately well, and it was the city's oversight in terms of getting them reviewed. The committee also approved $10,000 in ARPA funds to be used for parklet construction. One of our parklets, we constructed 2 in the summer of 2020, and one of them was hit by a car and damaged. And so we are looking at replacing those. And I have some good news along that line. Puyallup, the city of Puyallup apparently has some parklets for sale. So we should be able to hopefully replace those in an affordable way. And so there would be $10,000 in ARPA funds for parklet replacement. And also under ordinance number 2790, the council allocated $20,000 to improve the Bill Heath Sports Complex restrooms. However, the accepted bids were double the budgeted amount and were ultimately rejected by council. So the committee has recommended defunding that project and returning the $20,000 to the ARPA fund for future allocation. Well, staff recommends approval of this budget amendment for a total of $50,000 to be used for restaurant grant and parklets. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
Okay, do we have any questions? Councilmember Brown.
Yes, Ryan, if this passes, what would be the balance? The
balance in our ARPA account, that's a good question.
I can answer that.
Thank you, Mr. Wilson.
Dollars of unallocated funds. 90,000, 90.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions or discussion? Okay, Councilmember Potato.
So how much is Eternal Soul getting? Are they getting 40,000?
The 60,000, which was the grant amount that was given to other restaurants who applied.
So I guess I would, in the summary background, oh, I see it's there, the 60,000. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any others? Councilmember Hochstetter.
Yes, I just want to say that the committee worked really hard on coming to these conclusions, and we wanted to be fair to the person whose application didn't get in the mix with the others, and they did fulfill the needs. And so we are going to take care of them and make them whole. And I think the city has gotten a lot of use out of the parklets, and I'm hoping that we continue to, that we do get a good buy and that we can make those happen soon. So thank you.
All right. Any other comments? Michelle, will you call the roll?
Mayor, Councilmember Newman raised her hand.
Oh, Councilmember Newman. Sorry, I didn't see your little tiny hand.
Oh, no problem. So I was just going to add that if anyone has had a chance to go by there, I think they'll feel reassured that they are putting this money to good use in terms of updating their store, and really it's kind of a long-term investment for us, whether it's them or someone else that occupies it.
Thank you. All right, any other comments or questions or anything? Seeing none. Now, Michelle, would you call the roll?
Hochstetter,
Yes.
Newman,
Yes.
Potato,
Yes.
Steward,
Yes.
Yes.
Reed, Cole,
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
All right, passes unanimous. Okay. We are down to reports. I will call on Councilmember Newman for reports.
None at this time. Thank you.
To Councilmember Reed.
Thank you, Mayor. Nothing other than I'm sorry.
Thank you. Councilmember Brown.
No, thank you.
Councilmember Potato.
Nothing tonight.
Councilmember Stewart.
Nothing, thank you.
Councilmember Hochstetter.
Nothing this evening, thank you.
Councilmember Cole.
Yes, I actually have an update on the Rainier Communications Commission meeting that was held on September 21st. It was, I mean, there are typical items on the agenda. A couple were noteworthy, and I will just speak on those two. TCTV received the NATOA National Programming Award, which is and Sumner the Sumner video was part of that award. And there was also discussion about the interlocal agreement. And it was quite interesting enough where that there will be a special meeting held on October 19th, and it will be open to all members, all member jurisdictions. But in particular, there was talk of updating the ILA, and the changes requested in that update would be telecommunications, possibly dissolving the RCC and have jurisdictions with do individual contracts. But there was talk about how that would be done to tailor individual agreements and allow each jurisdiction to do their own thing, as well as some asset issues. But I guess each jurisdiction has cameras that camera systems that they would be concerned about those and what to do with them. So there will be, as I mentioned before, a special meeting on October 19th, and then I will relay further what happens there.
Thank you. Thank you for your always giving good reports. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
City Administrator Jason Wilson.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Coming up at next week's study. Well, first off, I want to remind everybody we have a special study session immediately after this meeting. We'll try to take a 5-minute recess between so we can rearrange the room to continue our discussion on our 23-24 budget. Coming up on October 10th, study session will once again be talking preliminary budget, and we'll be focusing on streets, including street operations, as well as the sidewalk capital fund. We'll also start our 2023 ad valorem property tax discussion. And then we do have one non-budget item on the study session next week, and that is the Heritage Park remediation update. On October 17th, we'll start the night with a regular council meeting where we'll be holding a public hearing for the 2023 ad valorem property tax levy. You'll consider a resolution setting a public hearing for the Riverwalk Trail right-of-way vacation, a purchase and sale agreement for the Nordike property, a consultant contract agreement for the 2024 comprehensive plan update, a construction contract award for the Sumner Springs Reservoir recoat, a town center utility and lunar PSC agreement for design work, as well as a town center main and wood PSC agreement for design work, stormwater capacity grant acceptance, an ordinance establishing the 2023 utility rates, an ordinance amending the budget for Heritage Park remediation, as well as a consultant services agreement amendment for the Heritage Park remediation. And lastly, we'll be adding items to the agenda to include council appointments to PCRC, as well as the council committees based on tonight's council action. At October 17th, after our regular council meeting, we will also have a special study session. And we'll be going through additional budget presentations. This is going to focus on our internal service funds, which includes fleet replacement, and information technology. With that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions? Councilmember Botetto.
So due to the action tonight, like the next 3 Wednesdays, we'll have to find somebody to cover finance, ARPA, and public safety. So it sounded like you were going to wait till later to do that. Or did I misunderstand?
Does my mic get turned on? So finance committee, we do need the alternate to cover this week.
Okay.
And then public safety, I'm guessing is on the 19th, chief. So we'll have be able to have that discussion on the 17th to figure out who is going to replace Mr. Reed on that. And there is no ARPA committee meeting this week or this month.
This month, okay. All right, thank you.
Okay. So if anybody was in town this weekend, I'm sure all you saw was pink everywhere. One of the largest events, the largest walks now in the region, Come Walk With Me, was this weekend. I thank you to everyone who hosted this event, Multi-Care Foundation, the Old Cannery, all the teams, and the walkers. A special thank you to our businesses and residents for your patience on running a 5K through the streets of Sumner. And our city employees team ended up raising $16,000 this year. Not bad. Thank you. Meeting adjourned at 7:13. Oh, 7:07. That was grueling, you guys.
You didn't like having to vote?
Oh, it wasn't plugged in all the way.